From the Daily Caller. Biden admin plans on advising Ukraine to hand over territory to Russia. This is an effective surrender of the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. And I couldn't believe it when I read this because the AP's headline, I wonder if the Daily Caller has the link to the Associated Press article. The AP's headline did not, actually, I think we could pull it up. Let's see what they have the headline as. Biden assures Ukraine's leader of U.S. support to deter Russia. That's their headline. And everybody sees that and they're like, okay, sounds like we're good in Eastern Europe, right? And then you scroll down in the article and it says administration officials have suggested that the U.S. will press Ukraine to formally cede a measure of autonomy within its eastern Donbass region, which is now under de facto control by Russian-backed separatists who rose up against Kiev in 2014. So there is a group in eastern Ukraine that are backed by the Russians, armed by the Russians, that view themselves as completely separate, want to join Russia, and Biden's response to the buildup of troops by Russia is let them have it. That's crazy to me. Now, I want to stress this point. If this avoids U.S. or EU conflict in the region and a ground war, probably a good thing. But I suppose there's a line. I don't know where it is. I agree with Tucker. We shouldn't care about Ukraine's borders over our southern border, which is porous and busted. But I'm worried about another Afghanistan situation where Joe Biden, he's sitting there in the command seat, and then Vladimir Putin racks up 90,000 troops, and Biden goes, Ukraine, just give it to him. Just give him the territory. And it's like, here we go again. Could there be a better way? Look, under Trump, this stuff wasn't happening. And what did Trump do? He sold weapons to Ukraine and Putin backed off. Putin takes Crimea. Trump gets elected. Putin backs off. Biden gets in. Putin comes back and says, I take.
Yeah, I don't think Biden's calling the shots here. I think there's...
think Putin's got compromat?
I think there's a long geopolitical, neoconservative Pentagon establishment that does call the shots. And there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a trade-off here, if there's a bigger deal here. The United States did give Ukraine $2.5 billion of weaponry. They have been very active in the region. They have had success turning Ukraine, that had its sphere of influence with Russia, towards the European Union. So this is a very complex picture. It's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds from here. Obviously, I prefer diplomacy over hot war, and I think we should avoid hot war no matter what. I think the larger geopolitical picture... Well, you know what I mean. I think we don't need neoconservatives in charge threatening nuclear war, and we have that right now, a part of the U.S. government threatening the Russian government. I don't think that helps the situation at all. So I think diplomacy is key here, and I think all of America's foreign policy, especially the way it's been run under Trump and now Biden, is shooting itself in the foot and totally counterproductive, and also holds Europe in jeopardy, since of course Europe also depends on a lot of Russian oil and energy that's being shipped towards it right now. So there's a lot at stake here. I still want to see the full picture before jumping the gun and understanding what's really happening here. What about you?
I think this is your point is really, really well taken, because there's all these complex pieces. There's also the piece of like, what are, the Central European countries like Poland, we have both Polish roots. What are they thinking as they're looking? Poland wants to be this big, basically ally to the U.S. And the U.S. is basically doing things like giving land to the Russians. That's like a huge red flag for the Poles. I mean, the Poles have been run, basically the Russians have invaded many times. The Germans have invaded many times. They're, expecting the next time.
Yeah.
Right?